because a lot of these algorithms and the AIs behind them do create echo chambers on purpose. Do you think the average person wants to break out of that, or do you think they're fine with what's being created by these algorithms? And for those people who aren't fine with it, do you think performing some poisoning is the appropriate response?
Anecdotally, what I've noticed is that people like their echo chambers. If you are a fan of the right, then you're on Twitter and Truth Social. If you're a fan of the left,
Threads.
then you're on Threads and Blue Sky, right? And unfortunately, both of those
Ain't
aren't.
nobody on Parlor anymore, though.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Unfortunately, that divides us more, right? That has us dig more into our idea of what is right and what is wrong, right? And those are somewhat subjective depending on what the situation is, right? And if you don't hear new ideas and you don't hear other people's opinions, then everything kind of tends to get lost, right? As far as who you are, why you have that idea you have, and where you're going with it. So I think the answer is that people like to be they like that. I think in general, we as human beings like that. We like things that are like us, right? It just makes sense. Habit, right? And we all
Yep,
have habits, and we
exactly.
like to stick to them, and we like to continue sticking with them. That's what habit is. But also, that transcends into like our biases and our belief systems, and we like to be around people. If you go to a specific church and you're part of a specific denomination, you like to hang out with the people who believe in the same thing you believe in. It's not true for everybody, but I think we are creatures of habit, and I
Well,
think we like to have that reinforced.
I agree with you, especially because I think with that reinforcement, most people say, I just want to be happy. But what they really mean is they just want to be comfortable, right? But then when you get to that level with these echo chambers, it's not, the engagement isn't there if you just feel comfortable, right? I think what a lot of people want more than comfort, and they'll sacrifice their comfort for this, is to feel right. And
Yes.
that gets them really, really going. And really, when they're right, then they have a reason to exist. And then for some people, I'm not saying everyone, then it's not enough just to be right. They want to be right and others must be wrong, and they need to help identify the others. And they're miserable at this point, right? They're no
Yeah.
longer comfortable, but it's fueling more than the comfort. It's the feeling right and just and finding the wrong and then making sure the wrong people feel wrong. It's a bit, that's the part that unsettles me with that echo chamber element. Which is why I can see, and I am not supporting, I don't condone or any of this, but I can understand why people would want to poison their own footprint, right? When it comes to these algorithms and AIs and so forth. Some people just want to be left alone and want to avoid that altogether. And I think I would not necessarily fault someone by default for doing that. But I answered your question rather than waiting for
No,
you to
no,
respond
that's
from that
fine. I
end.
mean, I totally agree. I think that, I think you and I have both noticed that there's a very particular group of people who tend to be in a particular generation who really like AI in a certain light. They like that it says yes and please. They like that it is very kind word, very kind, that it tends to reinforce their beliefs or reinforce what they were thinking.
Well, and on the kind part, I think there's a lot of lonely people out there that just want something
Yeah.
nice said to them, which there's many, I'm sure most people know now, but there's a big epidemic of loneliness, especially amongst young men. And they just want to hear someone say something nice to them. And it's sad to an extent, but then it also gets a little enabling. There's a lawsuit going on right now where parents are suing OpenAI because their son started with basic homework questions and then compliments and then used it to understand how to perform the worst type of self-harm and receive support from the AI. So it's a very tricky, the devil's in the details there, right?